You're lying in bed at 2 a.m., replaying the conversation in your head. That moment when they looked away, when your message was left on read, when you realized they chose someone else, not you. And suddenly, you're spiraling. Every insecurity you've ever had comes flooding back. You feel small, invisible, like you're screaming into a void and no one can hear you. Here's the weird part. Rejection shouldn't hurt this much. Logically, you know this. People have preferences. Timing matters. Life moves on. But your body doesn't care about logic. Your chest tightens. Your stomach drops. You feel like you're dying. Why does a simple no feel like annihilation? Because according to Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant minds in psychology, rejection isn't really about the present moment at all. It's a doorway into something far older, far darker, and buried so deep inside you that you've spent your entire life running from it. And the most terrifying part? You can't escape it. But here's the twist. You're not supposed to. Let me tell you something that might sound dramatic, but it's true. Every time you feel rejected, you're not just responding to what's happening now. You're responding to every moment in your past when being excluded felt like a death sentence. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist who basically mapped out the human psyche, discovered something fascinating. He found that our emotional reactions are rarely proportional to present events. When someone ghosts you, when you don't get invited to the party, when your partner says, "I think we should see other people," the pain you feel isn't just about losing that person or opportunity. It's about something he called the abandonment complex. Think of it like this. Buried deep in your unconscious mind, there's a wounded child. This child learned very early on that being rejected by caregivers, the people who literally kept you alive, was terrifying. When mom ignored your crying, when dad dismissed your feelings, when you realized that being good got you love and being yourself got you punishment, something crystallized in your brain. Rejection equals danger. And here's where it gets really interesting. You didn't just forget about this as you grew up. You built your entire personality around avoiding that feeling. Jung called this constructed identity the persona. Basically, it's a mask you wear to make sure people accept you. You became the funny one, the helpful one, the agreeable one, the strong one. Whatever role guaranteed you wouldn't be left alone. You learned to read rooms, anticipate what people wanted, mold yourself to fit whatever shape the situation required. And it worked for a while. But now, in today's world, this strategy is killing us. We live in an age of constant performance. Social media has turned existence into a 24/7 audition where everyone's watching, judging, deciding if you're worthy of their attention. We curate our lives, filter our faces, edit our thoughts, all to avoid the ultimate terror: being scrolled past, being irrelevant, being rejected. The problem? No matter how perfectly you perform, rejection still finds you. And when it does, it doesn't just hurt, it shatters you, because you've built your entire sense of worth on being accepted by others. So here's what we're going to explore in this video: why rejection activates this ancient wound, how the mask you've been wearing actually makes the pain worse, and most importantly, how facing what terrifies you most can actually set you free. Because Jung believed that the thing you're running from is exactly what you need to confront to become whole. This isn't about getting over rejection. It's about understanding why it destroys you and how that destruction might be the best thing that ever happened to you. Why rejection feels like death. When you get rejected, your brain treats it like a physical threat. Jung understood this wasn't an overreaction, it was an echo from our deepest past. Imagine you're 3 years old, you're crying because you're scared and your parent walks away. Or you express excitement and they tell you to be quiet. In that moment, your child brain doesn't think, "Oh, they're just having a bad day." It thinks, "I'm in danger. If they abandon me, I die." And you're not wrong. For a child, emotional abandonment is a survival threat. So your psyche creates what Jung called a complex, an emotional program running in the background, constantly scanning for signs of rejection. Fast forward 20 years, you're an adult now. You can survive perfectly fine alone, but that complex, it's still running, still terrified. So when your date doesn't text back, when your friend makes plans without you, that 3-year-old inside you wakes up screaming. You're not a capable adult anymore. You're that helpless child again, experiencing rejection as annihilation. This is why you can't just think positive your way out of it. This isn't happening in your rational brain. It's happening in the ancient part of you that only knows one thing. Being left alone means death. The mask you can't take off. To protect yourself from ever feeling that terror again, you built what Jung called the persona, a carefully crafted version of yourself designed to be unrejectable. Think about who you are when making a good impression. You're funnier, more agreeable, more interested. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You hide controversial opinions. You become digestible. And it works. People like this version of you. They accept you. Mission accomplished. Except you're not actually you. You're a performance. That's why compliments never really land. Even when people say they love you, part of you thinks they don't love me. They love the character I'm playing. The dependent persona is exhausting because it requires constant maintenance. You monitor every word, every expression. You mold yourself to fit whatever shape the situation requires. But here's the devastating part. When this persona gets rejected, it doesn't just hurt, it erases you. If you've built your entire identity on being acceptable, then rejection means you failed at the only thing you thought you were. You look in the mirror and think, who am I if I'm not wanted? And the answer terrifies you. You don't know. Meeting what you've been hiding. When rejection shatters your persona, something emerges from beneath. Jung called it the shadow, all the parts of yourself you've deemed too ugly, selfish, or weak to show anyone. The anger you were told was inappropriate, the neediness you were shamed for, the ambition you hid because it seemed arrogant, the sadness you swallowed, the desires you locked away because they made you feel guilty. All of it has been growing stronger in the dark. When rejection happens, the shadow breaks through. Suddenly, you're feeling rage that seems disproportionate, jealousy that makes you feel pathetic, a desperate need for validation you can't control, self-hatred so intense it takes your breath away. You think, what's wrong with me? But here's what Jung would tell you. Nothing is wrong. This is the most honest you've been in years. The shadow isn't your enemy, it's the part of you begging to be acknowledged. Your anger, it's protecting boundaries you never learned to set. Your neediness, it's a younger version of you who never got enough reassurance. Your jealousy, it's showing you what you actually want but have been too afraid to pursue. The shadow contains everything you sacrificed to be loved, and rejection is forcing you to look at all of it.
The prison of needing approval. As long as you need other people's approval to feel okay about yourself, you're not free. You're in prison, and you're both the prisoner and the guard. Think about how much of your life is spent calculating. If I say this, will they like me? If I do that, will they think I'm weird? You're constantly running simulations, trying to predict how to act to secure acceptance. This is living unconsciously. You're not making authentic choices. You're making strategic ones. Your life becomes a chess game where the goal is never getting rejected, and the cost is never being yourself. The tragedy? This strategy doesn't even work. You can be the most agreeable, pleasant person in the world, and people will still leave. Because humans are complex, circumstances change, and sometimes rejection has nothing to do with you. But when your entire worth depends on external validation, every rejection becomes a referendum on your value. One person's no crumbles your self-concept. One criticism spirals you for days. You're giving other people godlike power over your emotional state, and they don't even know it. Building something unshakable. So how do you break free? Jung believed the answer lies in individuation, the process of becoming who you actually are, separate from everyone else's expectations. This doesn't mean becoming cold or pretending you don't care. It means developing internal authority, a core sense of self that doesn't collapse when someone walks away. Imagine having a relationship with yourself so solid that when someone rejects you, your first thought isn't, "What's wrong with me?" but "That's unfortunate, but I'm still here. I'm still whole." This isn't arrogance. It's integration. It's looking at all parts of yourself, the shadow, the wounds, the desperate need for love, and saying, "This is me, all of it, and I'm not abandoning myself anymore." When you stop rejecting yourself, other people's rejection loses its power. Not because it doesn't hurt, it still does. But it doesn't destroy you. It doesn't define you. It doesn't confirm your worst fears, because you've already looked at those fears. You've faced the shadow. You've sat with the wounded child inside you and said, "I see you. I'm not leaving." And that changes everything. So here's what it all comes down to. Rejection will always hurt. That's not going away. But the question is, will it destroy you or will it reveal you? Jung believed that every psychological crisis is an invitation. When rejection tears down your persona and forces you to meet your shadow, it's offering you a choice. You can rebuild the same mask, return to the same patterns, and continue living for other people's approval. Or you can do something terrifying and liberating. You can stop running from yourself. Integration doesn't mean you become perfect. It means you become whole. You acknowledge the wounded child, the desperate need for love, the parts you've been ashamed of, and you choose to stay anyway. You develop an internal foundation so solid that when the external world shifts, you don't crumble with it. This is individuation. This is freedom. Not from feeling pain, but from letting that pain define your worth. When you stop abandoning yourself, rejection becomes just another experience, not the end of your story. If this resonated with you, do me a favor, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find this content. And here's a question I want you to sit with. What part of yourself have you been rejecting to avoid being rejected by others? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and sometimes the most powerful insights come from your reflections. If you're ready to go deeper into Jung psychology and understand yourself at a level most people never reach, subscribe to this channel. We're just getting started. There's another video you need to watch next. I'll link it on screen now. Thanks for being here. See you in the next one.